Recording in
Sign a
progress.
contract.
Welcome, everybody. The time is now 3:30, and I call the December 17th, 2024 meeting of the St. Joseph County Area Planning Commission to order. This meeting is being held, is this on?
No, it is.
Sorry. Can you test? Okay. I'll start again. Welcome, everybody. The time is now 3:30, and I call the December 17th, 2024 meeting of the St. Joseph County Area Plan Commission to order. This meeting is being held in person and virtually on the fourth floor council chambers of the County City Building. We will first ask for any public comment from those in the chambers, then from members of the public attending remotely. For public comments from those attending remotely, please use the raise hand function or message the host in the chat function. Please clearly state your name and address for the record. We also ask that board members state their name when making a motion and a second. At this time, please silence your cell phones so they do not disturb the meeting. May we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Devon,
Here?
Mr. England,
Here.
Mr. Krasinski,
Here.
Ms. Hannon,
Here.
Dr. Lauk,
Here.
Mr. Roush, Mr. Metzat,
Here.
Mr. Tavernier, Dr. Thacker,
Here.
Thank you, Amy. We are a 9-member commission. We have 8 members present and 0 members attending virtually today. If any petitioner would prefer to have their petition heard with more members present, they may ask staff to have their item tabled to a future meeting when more members might be present. Now that we've gone through that, may we please have the reading for the public hearing, combined public hearing, sorry.
a combined public hearing on a proposed ordinance of UFP Real Estate LLC to zone from R Single Family District and OB Office Buffer to I Industrial District and seeking the following variances. Variance 1, from section 154.212 C1B to allow a 0-foot front setback where a minimum of 15 feet is required for a parking lot. Variance 2, from section 154.212B to allow a 0-foot setback where 50 feet is required for a parking lot in a front yard across from a residential district. Variance 3, from section 154.212B to allow a 0-foot rear setback where a minimum of 50 feet is required. Variance 4, from section 154.212B to allow a 12-foot rear setback where a minimum of 50 feet is required. Variance 5, from section 154.419A1 to allow a drive aisle width of 14 feet where a minimum width of 24 feet is required. Variance 6, from section 154.419B to not provide a hard surface of asphalt, concrete, pervious pavement, pavers, or other material to provide a durable, dust-free surface to allow a parking lot constructed of asphalt millings. Variance 7, from section 154.419A3 to not provide lines and curbs within an off-street parking area. Variance 8, from section 154.421D to not provide required bicycle parking. Variance 9, from section 154.332A to not provide front yard landscaping. Variance 10, from section 154.335B to not provide parking area screening. Variance 11, from section 154.332B to not provide type 2 screening landscaping. Property located at 50415 Herbert Street and 50311 Alice Street and 50316 Alice Street and 50316 Alice Street. St. Joseph County, APC number 3056-24.
Thank you. This is Sean Klein, Area Plan Commission staff. So this is a combined public hearing. The rezoning petition is to rezone the parcels highlighted in the screen from R Single Family District and OB Office Buffer District to I Industrial District. These parcels are owned by United Forest Products, which is the industrial operation to the north and to the west of the sites. This all kind of came to light when they purchased the 50316 Alice Street and constructed an employee parking lot there. Since the employee parking lot serves an industrial use, having it constructed on an R single family zoned parcel constituted a zoning violation that we had to pursue, and that's kind of what motivated this rezoning here today. Currently on site at the 50311 Alice Street property, it contains a small parking area that appears to be used by UFP. The 50316 Alice Street property is the two parcels side by side, which contain this larger parking area utilized by UFP employees. And then the parcel that is zoned, the other parcel on Herbert Street, 50415, is currently a vacant parcel seen there. If you look to the north of the rezoning areas, that's where you'll find the bulk of UFP's operations. It appears that industrial operations began there as early as 1951 and then expanded northward along the railroad tracks and then along Bittersweet between those two. To the east across Main Street, there are single-family homes zoned R Single Family District, and then that's followed by a medical laboratory, which is zoned C Commercial District. To the south are 4 single-family homes zoned R Single Family District. There's also a small office zoned O Office, and then further to the south across Beckley Street, there are more intense commercial uses zoned B Business. To the west immediately are 2 single-family homes, and then further west across Herbert Street is another portion of the petitioner's property zoned I Industrial District. So that's the larger parking area, as mentioned. This is the smaller parking area on the parcel that's zoned Office Buffer, and that's the Herbert Street property, which is currently vacant. This is the entrance to the main portion of the UFP property, which is on the other side of Thomas Street from the Alice Street parking lots. Here's the site plan submitted by the petitioner. As shown, the current parking areas would remain, and there are no present plans to develop the vacant property on Herbert Street. That's included just to kind of clean this up for potential later use. Looking at zoning and land use history and trends in the area, 4 properties on the north side of State Road 23 between Bittersweet and Herbert have previously been rezoned from R single family to OB, O, or C to provide for non-residential uses. The first of these occurred in 1995 when the property at the northwest corner of Beckley Street and Main Street was rezoned from R single family district to B business district. Additionally, 2 properties on the north side of St. Thomas Street were rezoned by the same petitioner, UFP, in 1984 from R Single Family District to I Industrial District to allow for employee parking, which is still in operation today, north of the current rezoning area. In terms of traffic and transportation, Herbert Street, St. Thomas Street are both local 2-lane streets, and both currently provide access to the UFP industrial property. There does appear to be sewer service that would be available at this site, and the petitioner is not proposing any written commitments along with the rezoning. Turning to the state law criteria, staff believes that if this area is rezoned to industrial, it would serve a few goals of the economic development pillar of the recently adopted comprehensive plan, including Goal 1, which is to promote the identified priority areas and corridors as prime locations for new investment. Goal 2, promote reinvestment and redevelopment. And Goal 3, foster opportunities for business expansion and attraction. If you look at the future land use map within the new comprehensive plan, it does show this area as transitional, which suggests that changing conditions and development patterns in the area likely mean that there's a more appropriate land use than what's traditionally been established there. And we've already come to see this with those past rezonings from our single-family district to commercial uses. Turning to the current conditions and character, currently the only structures on these properties are the parking lots and then the fence that's on the vacant property. Looking at most desirable use, given that these properties are surrounded by industrial, commercial, and office uses in virtually every direction, it's likely that the single-family residential is really no longer the most desirable use within this small 7-acre neighborhood, which is bound by Herbert, St. Thomas, Beckley, and Bittersweet Trail. We do now feel that industrial and commercial infill, which takes advantage of the available sewer service in the area, would now be considered a more desirable use. By the same token, looking at conservation of property values, given that the remaining 6 single-family homes are already surrounded by these intense commercial and industrial uses, we don't believe rezoning these particular parcels would in any way be detrimental to their ongoing value as residential properties, especially given that the limited size of the properties within the petition area really wouldn't allow for any intensive industrial use. They would really just be more accessory use, in this case to serve as parking lots and stormwater retention in the meantime. Finally, turning to responsible development and growth, we believe that it would be responsible for future industrial use in close proximity to this established industrial use and also where sewer service is available. So in terms of the rezoning petition, staff is recommending that this be sent to the county council with a favorable recommendation. As you heard, there are several variances along with this petition. Most of these stem from the fact that, as I mentioned, these were traditionally small residential lots. Most of them have multiple frontages, so we need to apply that heightened front setback to a variety of the lot lines. Additionally, they do abut some of those residential uses that continue to exist, so that heightens those setbacks as well. Those factors, coupled with the fact that the rights-of-way are excessively wide, really would not allow any sort of non-residential development of these properties by right under the zoning ordinance. Therefore, since staff believes that non-residential uses are more appropriate on these properties, we likewise believe that these variances to allow those non-residential uses are appropriate. This goes for variances 1 through 4, which deal with those front setbacks that I mentioned. Variance 5, which allows for a more narrow drive aisle width so they can more efficiently use that parking area. Variances 7, which deals with the lines and curbs, which again would take up valuable space, along with not providing bicycle parking and not providing the front yard landscaping or the screening and parking area landscape screening. We couldn't really find any practical difficulty, however, to justify variance 6, which is to allow asphalt millings as opposed to a hard surface of asphalt or concrete. In reviewing this with the county engineer's office, they suggested to us that when they would review the runoff for the asphalt millings, it wouldn't be calculated any differently than asphalt. So there's really no space savings in terms of the retention areas. So we felt that there just really wasn't any justification to not provide that hard surface on the parking. So turning specifically to the state law criteria for the variances, we find that the approval would not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. For one thing, the approval of the variances would really have no impact on the broader community such that they'd be detrimental to public health, morals, or general welfare. And as I mentioned, for local streets, the right-of-way is excessively wide. It's 66 feet for St. Thomas and then 60 feet for Alice Street. So the parking area is sufficiently set back still that even at a 0-foot setback, that it shouldn't be detrimental to public safety in any way. Turning to the use and value of the area adjacent, not being affected in a substantially adverse manner. The neighboring residential uses are already in close proximity to intense industrial and commercial uses. In these cases, it's going to be really just limited to those parking uses, given the limited size of the property involved. And additionally, again, given the widths of the right-of-way, it would appear that the parking lots are set back far more than 0 feet from the property line. And there is also an unimproved alley right-of-way that separates the Alice Street properties from the single-family abutting properties to the south. So that just adds in some additional setback distance. Finally, turning to the strict application resulting in practical difficulties. As mentioned, you apply all of these development standards, which take up considerable space. It really leaves you with no viable non-residential use for these parcels. However, it does appear that traditional asphalt could be provided without having to resize the retention areas such that there's no practical difficulty for variance 6. So in summation, staff recommends that the rezoning be sent to the county council with a favorable recommendation, and we are recommending approval of all of the variances with the exception of variance number 6. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Sean, any questions?
Sean, do you know if those single-family houses there are rentals or are they owner-occupied?
They appear to be owner-occupied based on Abby's research.
Yeah, this question was also raised. It appeared that most had the same property address listed as the owner address. There was one that had like an Adams Road address.
Anything else, TJ?
No, understood.
Anybody else?
The current parking lot, is that asphalt millings or is that something else? Current parking lots that are used now?
I believe it's currently asphalt millings. That's either what it is now or what the petitioner was proposing, but they can speak to that better.
Okay.
Any other questions? We have the petitioner, please.
Afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
My name is Whitney Pizzala. I'm with AR Engineering. We're at 5725 Venture Park Drive in Kalamazoo, representing UFP. We're the civil engineer on the project. I just wanted to say thank you to Sean for all his help throughout this. Since we've been kind of brought on board, we've done some survey work of this site, and he's been a big help with the process and getting this to a point where we can present it today and just get things on track in the right direction. So appreciate everybody's efforts there. With the staff report, it was all really good, and we're in agreement to it. The asphalt millings is just something that they used, and we understand the ordinance with wanting to be the hardscape there. The millings are a fairly good dust-free material, so we would have, that would be just something that we would like you guys to consider. It is fairly dust-free, more so than the like gravel and limestone, and we'll evaluate the storm calcs for the county engineer to require that calculation. We'll relook at that after this hearing. So with that too, I just wanted to point out UFP does have some plans to put some landscaping around their parking lot and a privacy fence along that south line that is adjacent to the residential uses there. I'm not sure if that's part of the packet, but there is some plantings they propose around the front and the three fronts, and the fence on the south, just to kind of give that screening. So if there's any other questions that you may have for us, Adam with UFP is also here too. Thank you.
Thank you, Whitney. Is the intent just to keep it as parking areas? Is that,
Yes,
Okay.
yes. The intent is just to keep it for employee parkings.
any other questions?
I got a couple. Has there been any discussion with the homeowners of those single-family houses that are there now as parking, any kind of issues?
Not that we're aware of, they haven't brought up any issues to us.
Right, and then I'm familiar with the lumberyard, so is there, I know you guys got a ton of storage, right? But there's no chance in the near future that you're gonna wanna try to use any of these lots? The problem is once they're zoned industrial, they're zoned industrial, right?
Right.
So really, there's very little limitations that you have for what you're gonna do on these lots. So I know there's no intention at this particular moment for any kind of storage, but, you know, is there a 3 to 5 year plan of expansion that they have that possibly could end up with storage on these lots and still have single-family houses next to them?
Hi, Adam Van Ness with UFP in Granger. No, there is no current plans to do any further industrial development south of Alice or St. Thomas Streets there. I will point out that the parcel on the corner of Alice and St. Thomas has basically been that way for 25 years. The other spot over there on Herbert Street is a retention pond for runoff, so it's not going to be developed any further at that point. So the only intent on St. Thomas is overflow employee parking lot. Nobody's really even parking there at this point. It's just if we do have an influx of employees over the years, we would filter down into that other parking lot.
And then she had made mention that you were planning on putting, I see that there is kind of a fence, some sort of fence on the south, that south portion on St. Thomas and Alice. Is that fully constructed, or is this a bad picture that's up there right now? Or is that the fence that you're planning on replacing? I guess that's my question. Is that the fence that's planning on being constructed or fixed?
Can you follow up on that question?
So she had made mention that there was possibility of putting in some sort of a landscaping and a fence and
Yeah, so that would be this property here. So our plan is to put a privacy fence on the south portion, so it'd be the far right side of that picture. And then we are gonna put shrubbery around the other 3 portions to cover that parking lot.
yeah. Good.
Any other questions? Nope, okay, thank you. I will now open this to the public. Is there anybody present wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Please come forward and state your name and address. Seeing none. Is there anybody on Zoom, online, wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Please use the raise hand feature. Seeing none. Is there anybody present wishing to speak against this petition? Please come forward. Again, seeing none. Anybody online wishing to speak against this petition, please use the raise hand feature. Again, seeing none, I will now close this to the public. Is there any other further discussion or questions? Just a reminder, this is a 2-part, it's a combined public hearing, so we need a motion for the rezoning first, and then the variances after that.
All right, this is DJ Tavernier. I'll make a motion that we send a favorable recommendation for APC 3056-24 for the rezoning of industrial to the St. Joe County Council.
Dr. Lauk, I make a motion to second.
We have a motion by DJ Tavernier and a second by Dr. Lauk to send APC 3056-24 to the St. Joseph County Council with a favorable recommendation on the rezoning. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Matsat,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Devon,
Yes.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Dr. Lauk.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now, do we have a motion on the 11 variances?
All right, this is DJ Tavernier. I tend to agree with staff on number 6. I know that they're planning on putting some, fixing the fence or putting up a fence and then adding shrubbery around there, which I'm a fan of. I'm not a big fan of not doing landscaping when commercial. Sorry. So I will, make a motion here that we approve variances 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and we deny variance number 6.
Robert Krasinski, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve all 11, or all 10 of the 11 variances, denying variance number 6. That's just, we do that right here, right? We're not sending that, so. Can we have a vote, please?
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Devon,
Yes.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Mr. Matsat,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier.
Yes.
Motion carries. We have 2 text amendments. Text amendment number 1.
A proposed ordinance amending Title 15 Land Usage, Chapter 151 Zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Roseland, Indiana, Sections 151.205 through 151.211, to bring town floodplain regulations into compliance with recently updated state and federal regulations to allow continued participation in the National Flood Insurance Program, APC number 3057-24.
This is Sean Klein, Area Plan Commission staff. So this is virtually identical to the ordinance that you heard for the county last month. The DNR and the federal government made some changes to flood regulations, so the DNR released that model ordinance to get local ordinances back into compliance such that residents continue to be able to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. So this has been vetted with the Indiana DNR, and it will allow the one flood insurance policy to remain in effect, and anyone else within the floodplain will be eligible for flood insurance within the town of Roseland. Beyond that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sean. Does anybody have any questions? This is a staff,
And yes, you'd be making a recommendation to the town council of Roseland.
so that was the presentation, so I will now, if there's no other comments, I will open this up to the public. So if there's anybody present wishing to speak in favor of this petition, this text amendment, please come forward, state your name and address. You will have 3 minutes.
Peter J. Augustino, attorney at law, 131 South Taylor Street. I'm here as the town attorney for the town of Roseland. The great town of Roseland was incorporated in 1916. That's significant because that was 100 years after the federal government passed an enabling act under the Northwest Ordinance allowing Indiana to be formed as a state. So Indiana was formed in 1816. The town of Roseland was formed in 1916. And ever since the days of Noah, mankind has been struggling with floodwaters. And here we are after a long course of events through history with one more effort to deal with floodwaters. So on behalf of the town of Roseland, we would ask your support in recommending this ordinance to comply with requirements from the state DNR. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else present wishing to speak in favor?
And I just want to note that Mr. Fig can probably verify, possibly from personal knowledge on some of these things.
Took some pressure off of me, Randy.
If there's nobody else present wanting to speak in favor, is anybody on Zoom wishing to speak in favor of this petition or text amendment? Please use the raise hand feature. Seeing none, is there anybody present wishing to speak against this text amendment? Seeing none, anybody online wishing to speak against this text amendment? Please use the raise hand feature. Again, seeing none, I will now close this public. And is there any last discussions or comments? Otherwise, do we have a motion?
DJ Tavernier, I make a motion that we send a favorable recommendation to the town of Roseland for 3057-24.
Dr. Lauk, I second.
We have a motion and a second to send APC 3057-24 to the town of Roseland with a favorable recommendation. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Devon,
Yes.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Mr. Matzat,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier.
Yes.
Motion carries. And we have another text amendment.
A proposed ordinance amending Title 8 zoning ordinance for the town of North Liberty of the Town of North Liberty Code, Article 12, to bring town floodplain regulations into compliance with recently updated state and federal regulations to allow continued participation in the National Flood Insurance Program, APC number 3058-24.
Sean Klein, Area Plan Commission staff. This is a text amendment to the North Liberty zoning ordinance, which would bring it into compliance with federal and state regulations such that the town can continue to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. We recommend that you send this to the town council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you, Sean. Again, any questions? Seeing none, I will now open this to the public. Is there anybody present wishing to speak in favor of this text amendment? Please come forward, state your name and address. Seeing none. Anybody on Zoom wishing to speak in favor of this text amendment? Please use the raise hand feature. Again, seeing none. Is there anybody present wishing to speak against this petition? Seeing none. Anybody online wishing to speak against this petition? Please use the raise hand feature. Again, seeing none, I will now close it to the public. And do we have a motion?
Dr. Jerry Thacker will make the motion that text amendment 3058-24 be sent to the town council with a favorable recommendation.
Robert Krasinski, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to send APC 3058-24 to the Town Council of North Liberty with a favorable recommendation. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Devon,
Yes?
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Mr. Matzat,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski.
Yes.
Vote is 8-0, motion carries. Do we have any miscellaneous? I don't think we do, do we? Executive Director's Report. Abby.
All right. All right, as always, there's a summary of petitions that have gone through area plan in your packets. All of these have been approved that are shown in the table because we post your packet prior to in between the committee and the public hearing. One area of note, and I can't comment or editorialize in any way, but I will let you know ahead of time that the rezoning at State Road 2 and Strawberry Road, the written commitments that you all passed were modified by the council to have been made less stringent. So per state statute, that requires review by the area plan. It will be back on your agenda for January. And I just mentioned that because a handful of you have already asked me about it. As will the remaining 2 floodplain ordinances that we need to take care of, Osceola and Lakeville. Which was note number 2 on the report. Just wanted to note that we did hold a public meeting on a trail feasibility study we're doing for New Carlisle and the IUC. Molly, thank you for attending. I don't know if you or Carl would like to say a note about that. It was light attendance because it was a cold, snowy evening, but I think we got a lot of great feedback. And we will, of course, share the reports, subsequent reports with you all as they become available. You want to say anything, or?
I think it's exciting. It was really, I think you guys did a good job. The way they had it laid out was like, I don't know how many, 7 different options or something, and then had us kind of vote what would be the highest and best to start with. So that was really nice, the way that it was formatted.
Great.
And I hope it happens, because it'll be really nice.
It's one of those quality of life things that we hoped for in the IEC, and it's exciting to see, along with the development announcements, those pieces come together. So, all right, and then last note, just want to make note that Dr. Lauk and Jean have both been reappointed for another year. Year for Jean and 4 years for Dr. Lauk to the area plan. Everyone else will continue on except Bobby Kay, who's leaving us. And I did want to note that you're getting an award tonight at the commissioners' meeting.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
So just so everyone's aware, at 6 p.m. tonight, Bobby Kay will be awarded a key to the county by the Board of Commissioners. Another one. All right.
In case you lose your first key.
That breaks the,
get in.
that breaks the tie between the city and the county.
Really?
But I had 3 for each already.
All right.
So
I
this
didn't
will break
realize
the
that you were a
tie.
frequent flyer.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank you for your service. It's been really fun having you on.
Your staff, and thank you, board members. I really appreciate, setting up here. It's been enjoyable and very interesting at times, and learned a lot, and appreciate, Adam, your leadership, and Abby, again, your staff. And thank you to all.
Miss you, Bobby.
I'm gonna miss you. I'll be around.
That's all I have.
Thank you. We do have a couple minutes to approve. Is there, I see there's a span between. Are we missing some, or is it just?
We are. We will have August ready for you for the packet next, in August, right? August is ready for staff review. That will be for sure in your packet. And then I anticipate Amy and Shelley have been splitting the minutes
Right.
to get us back. Those couple 4-hour-long meetings that we had back over the summer really take a toll on these ladies because it's a lot to do minutes for. That's why we have, moving forward, Shelley on BZA and Amy on APC, so that way we can better manage the minutes.
Thank you, Shelley.
So do we have any comments, or do we have any motions on the, go ahead.
Have corrections on the November minutes, pages 23, 24, and 25. Indicates that I voted nay, and it should be voted aye for all of those on 23, 24, and 25 pages of minutes from November meeting, in order to make the addition correct for a 7-0 vote.
Okay. Do we have anything on July's meetings?
Make a motion that we approve the July 16th, 2024.
Dr. Thacker, I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve July 16th, 2024 minutes. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Devon,
Yes?
Mr. England, Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Mr. Matzat,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve November 19th, 2024 minutes as amended. Area Plan Commission.
Dr. Lauk, second.
We have a motion and a second to approve November 19th, 2024 minutes as amended. May we vote, please?
Mr. Matzat,
Aye.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Devon,
Yes.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Dr. Lauk,
Yes.
Motion carries. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Adjourn, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Adam.
Appreciate it. Good, best of luck to you.
Concerts, meetings.
Thank you very much.
What's the deal on Fruit House?